Good morning, everyone. Another beautiful spring day, and we are out on a little project, and we are balling on a budget today. I'm gonna show you guys what we got right now. So this is today's project. We've got this gravel road. It starts right there about where that sign is. It goes all the way down to where that tree is down there. And as you can see, it's got some really bad potholes in it. One there's a couple small ones up there. This is probably the worst one here, the biggest one. And there's another one right there where the Mini is sitting. And quite a few more through here. They're fairly large and they are also quite deep. And the goal here is to take the Mini with the tooth bucket and scratch out the areas where the potholes are, because the rest of the road is actually not in bad condition. It's pretty packed down. It's pretty solid, and it's just got these few potholes in it, maybe a dozen or so, that have got to just be dealt with. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take the bucket, the tooth bucket, I'm going to scratch the potholes out, try to regrade them a little bit, and then we're going to bring in 2 loads of stone with the dump truck and just tailgate 2 loads of stone right down through here. And we're kind of doing this on a bit of a budget. And I went over a bunch of different options with the client, different options, different costs, and this is what we decided to go with. So this is what we are doing. So I'm going to start scratching out these potholes right now, and we're going to get started. Hopefully this goes well. Okay, so we got all the holes scratched out, and for the most part they look pretty good. It is a little dry out, but I would have liked to have done this job on a day that's actually raining, because it would have added some moisture to the road here. It's pretty powder dry, but they wanted to get this done pretty quick, and it's not going to rain until the weekend, and I can't get stone on the weekend, so this was pretty much my best option. So we got this scratched out, all these holes scratched out, and now we're going to go get some stone. I quoted him 2, and then we kind of talked about the possibility of maybe a 3rd as well if it needs it. So we'll just see how thick it is and how far it goes, and we'll kind of just go from there. Maybe a 3rd load, maybe not, but it looks pretty good. It was the only real option I knew to kind of do this on a budget. You guys give me your thoughts, but this is kind of the way I've seen Brandon over at Elite Earthworks do it, except, you know, he typically uses the loader. I don't have a tooth bucket for my skid steer, and the other reason is the skid steer is in the shop with a major hydraulic failure issue at the moment. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll see that. I'll probably make a video about that when I get it back. But that's where we're at right now. So I just brought this thing already, and that little bucket actually works great because it's only 30 inches. Just kind of, we're just doing these couple little spots. You know, if I had the big wide bucket, you know, we'd be tearing up probably a little more than we want to. And I think I can tailgate this down pretty good, and we can just, you know, go over it, touch it up with the Mini, and just start tracking over it and get it as compacted as we can. So let's go get some stone. Alright everyone, I totally forgot my GoPros when I came back with the dump truck, but this job is done. I thought I might have to come back with the Mini and track this back down, but I just ran it over with the dump truck and it looks really good, and I think the homeowner is going to be really happy with it. So I hope this shows up good on my camera phone, or my phone camera, whatever. But yeah, I like it. And this is how you redo a driveway on a serious budget. Ideally, I would have liked to take up all the stone and took it down to like one end or right there somewhere and got the whole base up and then put fabric down and then reused the base and then put a couple loads of crush and run on top of it to build it up a little bit. I think half the reason this driveway is in such poor condition is that a lot of the rain and water is taking the finer particles of the driveway into this ditch right here. But I think that's going to look pretty good, and I think these larger pieces that I got on top here, more of the 57 size pieces, will really hold this driveway together and keep it from potholing too bad in the future. So as long as they kind of keep up with it and get any potholes before they get too bad, this should last a good while. So that's that. Got this done. I'm gonna call the client right now, let him know I'm done, and this is done. So hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry for the phone camera, but I'm improvising. So all right, I'm out of here. Bye everybody.